Test, 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 test.
Right.
Running, I just adjusted. Okay.
You're live.
Right. Good afternoon, everybody. We're gonna get started here just for the sake of time to make sure we're on time. So good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alex Canaves. I'm a nutritionist with Progressive Dairy Solutions, and it is my pleasure today to moderate this session where we're going to have three different producers sharing their perspectives on employee training. So the way we're going to do this is they're going to introduce themselves. We're going to have a few questions that we can start with. I also have Dr. Ralph Bruno with Zoetis on my right and JP Martins on my left. They're going to be helping out with microphones. So please, if you have a question, just raise your hand, wait for them to get to you guys, just so we can make sure that the people on the internet can also hear you guys well. Okay. So we're going to get started here. So I would like to first thank all of you guys for being here today. You guys are the reason we have this meeting. right? Always trying to improve, to serve you guys better. So we appreciate you guys' time. And I'd like to ask if you guys can please introduce yourselves and talk briefly about you guys' operation.
I do the short straw, I get to go first. My name is Sandy Larson, from Larson Acres. We're a half an hour south of Madison here. We have a dairy with 2,800 cows and about 75 employees, of which 8 are family members, 3 generations of our family farming together today. We've grown a lot since about 1998. So I've learned a few things along the way, and I'm sharing that today.
Jim.
Hi, I'm Jim Winn from Cottonwood Dairy. We're about an hour southwest of here too. So, I had the pleasure to be here. I don't know if you're gonna learn anything from this old guy, but these two are the pros, but, do the best we can. We milk, there's 1,900 head at the dairy. We got about 450 head that, smaller calves we raise, and then the older heifers go down to a grower, half an hour away from our dairy. 33 full-time employees, that, been very fortunate that kind of sets me above some other people. Maybe I've got a herdsman that started working for me when he was 11 years old. I think he's 56. So I mean, he's been with me forever. So he makes it really, really easy for me. He's been around me long enough. He knows how I want things done. And he's the one that gets it all done. So thanks for having me here today.
Very good. Amanda.
Hi, I'm Amanda Story. I work at Saegher Dairy. We milk about 3,200 cows and we have about 38 employees. I've been there for 13 years, so it's a pleasure to be here.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you guys very much. So we would like to focus today in the topic of employee training. So does anybody have a first question for the panel? Okay, I do. So I'll get started here. So the first question I have, and I would like, if that's okay, for each one of you guys to respond. So how's your management team structured, and how has that evolved as your dairy has grown over the years?
So our team structure today, so I've been showing 8 owners. We meet every other week on a standing meeting, just owners only, and then every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. is what we call our operations meeting. And that's where the what we call the middle managers, they attend those. We have a heifer manager, calf manager, sand, a herdsman, a maintenance. So there's a full table, and it's 1 hour only, and so it's just a way for them to ask questions. It's also nice that they get to see what's going on in other parts of the dairy. So those middle managers are kind of key in keeping their teams running, but also working together with the other teams is important.
So I manage the home farm, and above me are the Saegher family. They're very involved in all the farming activities. Once a month, we have a meeting with our farm managers. There's 4 farms in Michigan, and our middle managers, and just discuss what we have coming up in the upcoming week and what's going on. Once a week on Mondays at 8 a.m., we meet with just the managers to talk about what we're going to do in the coming week and organize and talk about things we need and what we expect to happen, like getting ready for cold weather.
One thing I forgot to mention, I'm in partnership with 2 other gentlemen at our dairy, so there's 3 of them that we meet every morning. We're in the office every morning, the 3 of us, usually 5 and 6, 7 days a week, so we see each other all the time. We do have some mid managers, while my herdsman is my main manager. He kind of takes care of the cattle end of things. I manage the dairy. One of the partners manages the cropping end of it, and one of the managers takes care of the financial end of things. And we have a couple, I guess, call them mid managers as far as herdsmen. One of them does all the hoof trimming, and the other one kind of helps Tori out as far as helping him in the mornings when there's a lot of fresh cow work to do and stuff like that. But we keep it fairly simple. Like I said, I had the pleasure of having this guy that's worked for me for many years. So I mean, he keeps things running at the dairy very, very smooth. So we're very fortunate for that.
Very good. Any questions from the audience? We have one.
You mentioned you had that employee since he was 11. What do you feel was the key in keeping him so long?
Me. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's a local boy. I've known his whole family for all my life and he was getting off the school bus one night when I went up to vote at our township building. Went up to vote and he stopped me and I was going on. He said, "You want some help in the night?" And I said, "Sure, you come up." And that was started, and that was, I can't remember what year that was. It's a long time ago, so. Yeah, I treat him very, very well. He's like family to me. My whole management team is, their employees is just like family. I try to treat them as I want to be treated myself, so that's key for us.
Jim, just going back on this here, JP. So I believe you saw potential in him, right? And that's one of the reasons you kept him so long as well, right? I guess, or
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
so, and I guess it's a two-way, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, back when we was at my home farm, he, like I said, that was, trying to think. Well, I started farming in 77, so we did build a new dairy, built 98, so he worked for me for about 20 years before we built our new dairy. And, I could see right away, it don't take long to pick these guys out, even my Hispanic guys that I got working for me, you can tell within the first couple, 3 weeks, capabilities. I sure can, and I know Tori does too. And, yeah, he was just, I could see right away, he had a knack for cows. His dad and his father owned a cheese plant, they made cheese. So, I mean, he knew of the dairy industry, but, in a different form of the dairy industry, but yeah, you can pick it out right away, this kid has.
Yeah, I was asking that because how long you cease to have with one person that don't have protection, that was basically where it going. Like, when you have someone that you see there's no protection for that person, do you try to relocate that person to a different task? Or do you insist with that or try to train, like, how do you manage those people, those employees?
You mean like if he had another spot in the area, I think he.
Well, not him, but any other employee.
Yeah, Tori's about like me, I don't get much of a thrill out of driving tractor, but work on a cow or be around cows. And, the other ones, I got one of my, guys that, works in the dairy full time, who's really handy outside. Running loaders and stuff like that, you know, you pick up on him, like he's got a niche for that, and, you put him ahead of it, he takes care of all the sand lane. Moving sand and keeping sand in the barns for the cows, and that's kind of his gig. And, yeah, and so forth, you know, one of my employees, it's, I call him a herdsman, part-time, or not part-time herdsman, a mid-manager herdsman. He does all the butcher, but he always helps with, testing milk and herd health. He gives a lot of shots on Monday mornings for herd health and stuff, so you kind of pick up on the guy when working for them.
I have an employee that was like that. He was a night herdsman and he was just about out the door because he wasn't very good at that. Brought him dayside, had some guidance, really did well, blossomed, and then there was an opportunity to move to what we call our shop to our maintenance team, and he is so good, right? Like so good. Until you get him to that right position, you just don't know their talents, right? Because I didn't ask. And it just happened, and watching them find that right position for those employees and watching them grow has been a lot of fun for us.
Dr. Lopez?
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for participating in the panel. Appreciate you guys' presence. So getting back on the employee training topic, right? So large herds, multi-site, do you guys have any systematic way to train new employees when they come in or they change jobs within the organization? And also, do you guys, so there's a three-part question. One, do you have a systematic way of training new employees when they come to your organization? Two, do you apply the same management practices across locations if you're multi-site? And do you have any way to track employee satisfaction?
So for us, when we hire a new employee, like for example, I have a parlor manager, I have a herdsman, I have a fresh cow manager. When we hire a new employee for whichever area that's going to, that person meets them face to face, learns their name, and then they take them under their wing and teach them the right protocol, and then they stay with them for a couple weeks just to make sure that they understood and that they get it. And it's the same way across all of our sites. Like every area has one person that specializes in that area, and they take those people under their wing to make sure that they're doing okay, and then they'll follow back in and check and be like, hey, are you still good? Is there anything you need? Are there any questions? Just to make sure that they're okay with where they're at.
Like a mentorship program.
Yeah.
Nice.
When we're hiring for a position, well, we like to do working interviews. So they get to kind of really see the, the job they're doing, some of it's not glamorous, it's not driving a tractor every day, it's harder than that. So we want them to see that, we want to kind of spend more time with them one-on-one as a working interview. And when they're hired, we do the same, that we let each manager kind of hire for their team, because we want it to be the right fit, right? We don't want to maybe it's not maybe the most experienced person, but they have to fit with the team, or it just doesn't work out. You can train somebody and they can just become part of the team, and it doesn't take them long to be a really good employee that way.
Yeah, as far as training, I have another, she was my first Hispanic hire many years ago. And, shortly after she started working for me, her husband started working for me. They do all the training on all the milkers and cow pushers and so forth. So I'm very, very fortunate to have them do. And, my third and Hispanic employee, and they've been with me for 22 years. And since he was really, really sharp on calves, so I sent him up to calf run, he's my calf manager. But I'm really fortunate, them three are the ones that do all the training for me and the new milkers. And Minerva, she was my first Hispanic hire. She don't milk anymore, she does some office cleaning and so forth, but her main job is to train anybody listening. As far as employee performance, I'm really, really for that. I'll be the first to do it. We did have one of our consultants work for us. He really stressed having quarterly evaluation, for each employee. That did not work for us. We can't fight, like everybody, what do you get in this, what do you get on this grade or whatever. I discontinued that. I didn't let that last very long, but our turnover rate in our employees is very, very low. And I'm not saying we don't have some leave, but we've had some of them with us for over 22 years or 23 years. So that makes up. And our local guys that work for us, I mean, they've been with us since 1998 when we were there. So that's the local, the guy that's a milk trimmer, he's local dairy farmer, he's down the road. So we're really, really fortunate on that. And then some of our employees, another thing that's a plus for us, we got a lot of husband and wife team. Bad part about that, they both want the same day off. So when we got to work around that, which I don't blame them. You want the same day with your spouse, but it does make it a little tough, getting schedules made and stuff. But we make it work. Minerva and Hector make it work somehow, and they do a fantastic job.
We have another question. Oh, Thiago, you got the microphone.
You all have successful farms, right? Otherwise, yes, you would remind it in here the panel. And I'm gonna use your example here, Jim, where you have like exceptional milk quality, exceptional reproduction outcomes. You are a winner, platinum winner in this event. So one thing is to achieve excellence, right? And that might not be extremely complicated. The other thing is maintain and keep that excellence, right? What strategies do you use on your farms to keep your people motivated, to keep doing the same good job for you to achieve these outcomes?
Well, that's a great question. We do have, every month we meet with our milk co-op that we ship our milk to, and they've got an interpreter that comes out every week. And we're all constantly always posting notes, what our sell count was today, what our cultures were for the week and stuff, and always keep them up to speed what's going on. And it's very important to them. They want to know. And we, if you take a dip on something, they want to know about it. And I think that the biggest thing is just have an open book with your employees that this is what's happening. We see things sliding a little bit. How can we turn it around and get back to normal again? Keeping them informed, that's the biggest thing. Communication is huge.
And that's really hard, when you achieve some high goals, your bar keeps getting higher and higher, right? But you have to keep looking for that. You want to make sure that you're not getting complacent, right? And then things start to slide a little bit. So you're always trying to raise that bar even just a little bit more each year, and we do the same, we post mini KPIs in the lounges for everybody to see. I started just this last month, called a weekly recap. And it's, I do, 3 topics. One is like my topic of the week. And then I'm focusing on our values and explaining the values and how it relates to the farm. And then I've got, farm highlights. It's simply like we're done mowing the lawns for the year, like that's a big deal, so it's little things. And then it's a safety topic. So every Friday or Saturday morning, I get that done and put in the lounges, again, communication and making sure everybody knows that we're striving to do the best we can every single day. That they come to work is important, and if they're not, that, it's probably not a good fit here at the farm.
So for us, our farms are very competitive against each other. Like my workers will come upstairs and be like, so what's this farm milking today? Like they wanna know their somatic cell, they wanna know how many milk pounds they have, because they need to beat that. Like each farm has its own soccer team, and I think that's where it originated. Like the rivalry to see who can get the lowest somatic cell and who can get the best milk weights. So our guys basically self-motivate themselves to try to beat what the other guys are doing. And then at our Christmas party at the end of the year, it's kind of like we got to over here. Yeah, it's like bragging rights at the end of the year, like, hey, for this month, like, we did this, because they remember because they won. So they just kind of self-motivate themselves to try to beat the other farms.
One other point, Sandy made a good point about safety. One thing we got, one of my employees, and she unfortunately does not work for me anymore, but she wanted to keep this position. She went to work for the local school district. And she wanted to somehow stay connected with Cottonwood. And I said, oh, you want to be my safety director, you can be my safety director. She's been doing that now for 4 or 5 years. That's really, really important because these insurance rates, you get a lot of workers' comp, it really adds up quick and it gotta keep everybody safe. And that's we just had a safety review yesterday with our insurance company, and we try to keep that rate low, and she's a big reason for that being low as it is. So but hats off to her.
Very good. I think we have another question there.
Yeah, my question is, do you have SOPs? And if so, how do you read those? And do you really use them?
Do you really use them?
Oh, yeah, that, we go through that every month with our interpreter. Yeah, we got SOPs for everything, so we be lost now, so that keeps everybody to speak, and it gives training, makes it easier for the new employees to train quicker too, they get a handbook when they get hired, and makes it a lot easier for us.
So we have a lot of SOPs that are the same across all the farms. Once a year, our office manager and our vets go through those to make sure they're updated with the newest protocols, the newest shop program, the newest everything's. And they are posted like throughout the farm in English and Spanish, so that everybody has a chance, like, hey, I forgot what your dry cows get, they can go, they can look at the book. And every year it's updated.
Yeah. I actually have a question, Amanda, if you don't mind answering this one. So I know you have an interesting approach on ownership as far as holding your employees accountable for what they do. So would you mind sharing that with the group today?
But I like to empower them, like my herdsman out back, he's in charge of cows moving further. If they're gonna go to the other farm and he doesn't think they walk right, they don't look at him right, they don't go. And like, I'm very proud of him for that. It took a lot of time to get to that and a lot of failure. Like we sent some really lame cows that I just had to watch go because he's not gonna learn if I tell him, hey, those can't go. It's gonna be the other manager who is also Hispanic calling him and being like, hey, we can't take these cows. And like me following up and being like, so how'd that turn out? And he's like, well, we talked and this is what we did. But to develop them, you have to be okay with letting them fail. Like me being there this week, I know I'm gonna go back and there's gonna be pregnant cows in my fresh pens. And there's gonna be fresh cows in my pregnant pens. But this will give me the opportunity to teach them how to find those cows on their own later. So the next time I'm gone, they can do it without me having to be there. But they have to fail for me to teach them that.
Yeah, I'll be interested in you guys' take on that. I mean, if you guys do anything similar to that or.
So you're saying you had towels that were in the wrong bin.
Yeah, it never happens.
I've never heard of it. I've never had,
Not at my dairy, right?
yeah, that's great, great story. It's all to do with communication to me. I mean, communication's huge, and if you want to stay in contact with everybody and tell them how things are done. Like I said, getting back to the SOPs, we rely heavily on them, and really helps our area. Another thing that really helps, I failed to mention, we work with great nutritionists, work with great veterinarians. All our people that manage jobs, I guess I should say, are financial people, they're above and beyond top notch. And that really helps on the
We have a question at the back of the room.
Yeah, so I am curious if you guys could talk a little bit about how you deal with conflict within your team, or specifically situations where you have people that have a lot of individual talent, but maybe don't play well with others.
I didn't ask you a question in your breakout session. That was kind of one of our questions on our sheet today, and I had to think about that. So like, we don't have a lot of conflict, nothing major. They'll fight over who gets which power washer, because it one's better than the other, who's stealing who's Bobcat, who's got the loader today. I mean, those are the conflicts that we have. And they're just petty, you know, they're just small. So that goes back to communication. Well, we need to use this to haul some solids, so you don't get 2 loaders to feed cows that day, you'll still get the cows fed, right? Everything will still happen, whether you have, you know, your piece of machinery or not, but we just don't seem to have that really hard conflict on our dairy, which is nice, I guess.
We used to have a lot with it was, if something happened, night shift, instead of day shift. If it happened in the day shift, it was definitely night shift, that broke that gate, like, it was broken 20 minutes ago, but it was night shift. And trying to get that out of their mentality, teaching them to be like, if you break a gate, it's okay, just come tell me, so we can get it fixed. We're not pointing fingers, we're all adults. It took, I wanna say, a good 6 or 7 months for me to finally get that to stop, just own your mistake. The quicker you tell me, the less angry I'm gonna be, and the less crappy jobs you're gonna get going forward, because you're gonna be angry. So come and tell me, we can get it fixed, we can get the cows put back in the right pens that never get screwed up. We can get the gates fixed that don't get broken by a ghost somewhere, and like, we can get through it, but just own it. Own your mistake, go forward, we'll do it.
Well, I'm glad I got to meet Amanda today. You're teaching me a lot. Broken gates. Never heard of such a thing. Scott, define the conflict.
Well, I think.
No, I'm just kidding. One of the things I really noticed after you either put some of the Hispanics in leadership roles. And I don't know if you girls see this in your dairies. They can't handle taking orders from another Hispanic for some reason. It's gotten a lot better, and because we've had meetings on it. Giovanni will come and tell me, hey, Terso, he's not doing it this way because he said, I'm not his boss. Well, you're acting as his boss because you're one of my managers. So after we got that drilled into him, it might not be Jim Winn out there telling you what to do. But this is the way Jim Winn wants it done. And I'm working under Jim and they get it done. So I mean, if once we got that kind of through to everybody, it seemed like it helped. We haven't had, you know, as far as conflicts, I'm here to say we just don't have very many conflicts there, but they're very, very, very competitive, very competitive. What the man said, you know, they want to know how come the milk shift or 1 o'clock milk shift got more milk than we did, so forth. You know, they're very, very competitive, which is great. I love that. It makes for a good team. So I don't know if that answered your question or not, Scott. But...
Any other questions?
All right, I have a question here. So, there's different generations, different ways people think. So, and there's a new generation coming to work different than those being here. And sometimes those have been here for a little while. How do you guys handle the difference in generation, different in kind of managing electronics, managing, all the work, the day by day routine?
Well, that's a great question too. You know, I'm getting older and, you know, I know that the future is gonna be somebody younger. And, my herdsman, he's getting older too. I mean, so that's one of the reasons, just recently we put in, I'm behind the times, I'm way behind the times, but we just put in a monitoring system for the area. Cause I know that next person that we hire is gonna demand something like that. We're gonna hire somebody younger probably. So I think it's very important, we gotta always have that in the back of the mind that, you know, we're not gonna be around here forever. What's the next step, and who's the next people that are gonna be doing these jobs and, kind of keep that in perspective. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
Yeah, that's a great question. I had two things on that. So I have three children, so the sixth generation on the farm, all three are on the farm full time. And they meet upstairs in their spare office in what they call the hub. And they conspire and they have a whiteboard. They've got big ideas. And we don't move fast enough for them. And I don't, I have to like think about things or process a little, I mean, and they're like 20 steps ahead of me, and I'm like, okay, well, just a second, let me get caught up. So there's that aspect with our owners and the generations on our farm, but then there's the young guys that we're hiring, that they wanna work 40 hours, you know, and farming is not like that, and so it's hard to get someone to work weekends. And I'm specifically looking at like maybe more the shop, at this point is, it's just a struggle, like sometimes we have, you know, we've got to be efficient, right? So they've had that weekends off, which is fine, but then there are times when we need them to come in and, oh, I already have plans, or I have this, I'm just like, oh, okay, so do we get to the point where we're gonna hire 4 days a week and the next person's 3 days a week, you know, splitting it? I don't know. And that's not just dairy, I mean, it's at our co-ops, it's coming, because people don't wanna work a lot of hours. That's hard.
So along those lines, since we're talking about different generations being present at the dairy, how are you guys dealing with the next generation of managers at your dairy? Are you guys promoting from within, training them? Would you guys rather hire, you know, somebody from outside? What is you guys' approach at you guys' dairies?
So if we have an opening, you know, we have a 1% turnover, so there's not a lot of change, and I think that's maybe why we don't have a lot of conflict, we just are very stable. That makes a big difference. But if we do hire, we do want to give everybody a chance from within to maybe transfer to something different. So we do post from within and do working interviews, and if we need to, we'll do an external posting as well. So we'll hire that way. We just think that that's important to do for them, gives them an opportunity. But then growing the managers that we have today, we like to use like PDPW, their academies, managing, Dairy Institute or financial literacy or those programs, we're trying to get them to attend those because they're really good. They come back pretty stoked, like the eyes are open and they are able to read people. We've also just done a disc profile with all our middle managers so that we know who are you working with, you know, and that's really eye-opening. We have a lot of Ds and some S's, which is me, because I'm really nice. And then there's the C's, and it's funny how the C's are always the nutrition people, the herdsmen, the accountant, you just see how they all fit. We don't have a lot of eyes on our farm, but that's been really good to kind of help everybody understand why people respond the way they do.
We also like to promote from within first, like we will, if there's a position, not so much management, but a regular position like paternity, we'll ask our guys, are any of you interested in learning this? Because if they already have an interest, they're gonna want to stay better. And the same thing with managers, like, would you be interested in taking this over? Because they're already there, they already feel the ownership, they already feel the responsibility. It's time for them to take that next step if they want to.
Yeah, I don't, as far as young people coming in, I just don't see a lot, because most of our many people, other than my herdsmen and myself, and Tori's 54 or 5 or 6, something like that. The rest of the guys are in their late 30s and 40s, so I'm hoping they count for another 15, 20 years. So as far as new ones coming in, but you know, what the reason I put this, system in, I know Tori, will probably another 10 years, he's probably gonna wanna be hanging it up. And, I know that next person is gonna probably want a herd monitoring system, and I'm not saying, and Tori loves it too, after he got on deal, he really loves it. But as far, we don't have, like Sandy said too, we just don't have a lot of turnover, so the people who've been there a long time, and hopefully keep that way for many more years.
Got one here.
Do you have any incentives in place to, for like employee retention or like at year 5 or year 10, it's like, hey, if you work here for 5 years, now you get X amount or. I don't know how you do it, you mentioned, but is there any incentives for employees to stay?
We're working on that right now with our finance people that, like I said, some of these guys are getting 20+ years, so. We're trying to put a program together for them. We do offer insurance, like that full coverage health insurance, we pay for it all. And we try to pay a really good wage that, keeps them a lot around, but, that's something we're a little weak on, but we're working on.
We do pay, health insurance too, but it's staggered, so the longer you stay, the more we pay. So it incentivize people to have more years with us. Every anniversary, they get a handwritten note by me and our anniversary gift of the year. Which has been like a Bluetooth Yeti, this year it's a bag chair, it's got Larson sneakers on it, plus they get $50 per year of working at the farm. And then a couple of years ago, we implemented, they get a jacket, they get to pick it out, and it says, it's got Larson sneakers on it, has their name, and like 5 years, 10 years, 15, and we've got some that are 25. So that's been pretty cool to see them wear their coats too, like even more for good probably than the farm, but to see their years of service on their jackets been kind of neat.
Jerry's on 50 already? Yeah, 50. Almost.
So we do employee of the month, and we stagger by the different areas, and I'll talk to like my parlor manager, hey, it's your turn this month, who do you feel has went above and beyond? And then we have like a paper of things they can pick out, like if it's a high-vis jacket, if it's a hat, shirts, coats, all kinds of stuff like that. So that's one of them. We do a Cinco de Mayo party every year for all the farms. They all come to the main farm and we have a cookout. We do a Christmas party with all the farms together where we all go bowling, which most Hispanics have never bowled, so that is a good time. Everybody's laughing, everybody's having a good time. It's all the farms together. And then for me personally, last year, Barton announced to Saegher, if you work for them for 10 years, they will take you to Belgium where they're from. You get to see like where they came from, the farm they started out at. Like they know I'm interested in history, so I got to go to Waterloo and just all kinds of amazing things. So that's like their 10-year program. So that was amazing.
I actually got another one, Sandy, if you don't mind me asking. So you mentioned this, right? So would you mind sharing with the group briefly what it means and how specifically you use it at the dairy to train employees?
So this is, I think, the 3rd time we did this, and I don't know what it stands for, but you take an assessment test, right? And it tells you, it puts you in a different quadrant. So D is your dominant, I is, I think, more of an enthusiastic kind of person. And S is, I forget.
Steadiness.
Steady,
Yeah.
yeah, nice, E. And then C is,
Compliance.
yeah,
It's
it's
detail
I
oriented.
know what kind of people are in each one of those, but I don't know the terms, but, so this is the 3rd time. The first time we did it was a family, and that was probably 20 years ago. And that was really good because we were different in the boardroom, and I didn't understand why, because I wasn't like everybody else, but so it helped us understand why and why people reacted the way they did or talked the way they did. We did it probably 10 years ago, with more of the managers, and then we have new ones now. So we wanted to, kind of see what kind of person are they, and are they in the right position, and how can they grow? So we just did it a couple months ago, so it's interesting to see how we then have the managers use that information. And if anything else, it's just how do you communicate with that person? And I pull out my assessment, I bet at least once a year, that I'm struggling talking with this person and why, or how can I talk to this person, because we are not, there's a wall, we're not hearing each other, right? So I'll pull mine out every year, just to kind of review how to talk to somebody in a different section than I am, and I think it's pretty good to do.
Very, very interesting. Any other questions from the audience or from the chat? You guys can type it in as well if you guys want. Okay, I actually got another one. I'm curious. So when you guys are hiring new employees, regardless of the area, it doesn't need to be a manager, any different area. What are some characteristics that you guys are looking for in that person in general? Or if there's different characteristics for different roles, what those are?
For us, we, depending on what area it is, like if they're going to maternity, we would prefer they have no experience because we have a vet on staff 4 days a week. So that they can learn the way we do things, the more hands-on approach, like we don't help the cows unless they need to. And a lot of times if we hire people that show up and they're like, oh, I've worked in attorney for this many years, it's hard to untrain the things that we don't want them to do, because a lot more people are hands-on. Oh, she's laying down, I need to help her. Or, oh, there's a sack hanging out, we need to take her to the close-up barn. And that's not the way we do things. We're a lot more hands-off, we're a lot more let them do it themselves. So retraining someone who comes to you with a lot more experience is harder as versus a blank slate that you can teach the way we want them to grow.
I would say the easiest way to not get hired at Larson is to say, I know how to do everything. You know they don't, right? We've learned it, they just don't, and.
Yeah, you're always, sorry. Here's your application money.
It's just, you just know that they're too confident, not gonna listen, not gonna be a good team player, because they just know everything already, and that just is a bad start. We've learned that a couple times.
Well, as far as the last employee I hired, and I just hired him here about 6 weeks ago, and he's worked for me 2 other times over the past 10 years or whatever. And the reason he got fired twice, and the reason I fired him, he will not work with anybody. He's the type of guy that he's not gonna get along with anybody. He went up northwest Wisconsin, or northeast Wisconsin, excuse me, and got a job up there at a great area. And but his family's back here, he's got some young kids. And he kept calling me and calling me and calling me, he said, Jim, I want my job back. I really want my job back. I want to get done by my kids. And said, Jose, you gotta change how you operate. If you can't get along with anybody, you're not gonna work here again. He said, I'll change. And he has. The reason I hired him back, I needed a part-time feeder. And it's really hard to find part-time feeders. Really hard. That's the hardest position to fill for me. Because, you want a local guy, kind of, or somebody that's a retired farmer or something maybe. But he's a Hispanic kid, and he knows how to drive tractor and everything. He's doing a wonderful job. I laid it out with him. I said, if you want a job back here, you're gonna have to get along with people. I haven't had one ounce of trouble with him. He fills in wherever we need it, and he's a real good employee currently. So I hope I keep it that way.
Very good. No, that's excellent.
So just a question here, so, you guys be evolving your management every year and kind of, so what is, one thing that you would do different? Back, 10 years ago, building this that, probably would take you faster where you are, or kind of take you a different position, kind of to have a better team. Just, we'll be learning all the success, like what's.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind, I wish I could go back, how many years? 60 years, whatever, 55, and learn to take Spanish in school. That is a big mistake. That's a question for Sam.
I took Spanish, but then I.
When you have these meetings with your employees, this program, how do you communicate with them? You got your interpreter right there? Oh, you got the interpreter there, yeah. That's the biggest thing that I can see. I mean, I wish, my Spanish is poquito and a couple other things, and that's it, but. Getting back to this Hector Minerva, my first Hispanic hire. Hector is fluent English. So I mean, he makes a huge difference for us. Minerva's pretty good. And a couple other ones have gotten really, really good, but, yeah, that's the thing. I wish, I got a buddy of mine that, he can speak fluent, Spanish, and I wish I could sit down with my employees and have a hard talk with them. Because I like to say, I treat them like family, but I just can't do that, and it's unfortunate.
I want to explain the why sooner, because we tell them to do things, and we want them to do it, but we don't explain why we want them to do it. We don't explain why it's important to make sure that you dip all the teeth with iodine. We don't explain why it is important to make sure that you're drying off the couch right. We just tell them we need you to do X, Y, and Z, and then we let it go. And I wish 10 years ago I would have thought to myself that, hey, if I tell them why we're doing this and why it's important, they're gonna grasp it better, they're gonna be more responsible about it, and they're gonna understand why we want the outcome we want. Because I explained it to them, so that was 100% on me for not explaining that to them. And the more that we explain to them now, and the more they know the reasons why, like, this is what we can do to lower somatic cell, this is what we can do so the cows don't slip and fall, even if it's just little things like sand in the alleys. This is why we're doing it, not just throw sand in the alley. If they know that this is gonna stop the cows from falling, they're not gonna get behind in the parlor because they don't gotta wait for somebody to come pick her up. They know the cause and events and they learn it better.
I'm gonna go back 15 years, so in 1998, we expanded for the first time, put on our first parlor, first non-family employees, it went fantastic, it went really, really good. We can do this again, so we did it in 2010, we built a second parlor, same site, but they're not side by side. So we have a second parlor and doubled the herd size, added more employees. That was a learning curve, which we didn't anticipate. You know, it was just more work for herdsmen because the cows were in, you know, too far away, you know, they're all there, but not close enough. So it just, we had to add more herdsmen, and we didn't anticipate that, and it went so well the first time, we're like, what did we do wrong the second time? We did it wrong, it just wasn't as smooth. And I think just because it's kind of two sites, two barns on one site, not just, it wasn't an easy expansion, so we would do something different that way.
Interesting. So we actually have a question from the chat here. So Will Stinson is asking, what is your key to employee retention on your farms?
Engagement, culture, we do a lot of that at our farm too. We have an employee party every summer where their families get to come. And I love that, you get to see their kids, they get to put their name in for like a $500 gift that like 5 people will win, you know, a grill or a TV or a trip. And then we have like Santa Claus comes in December, again, another family event that we get to see the kids, I love that. We do usually something every month, like in October, it's guess how many pumpkins are in, or how many seeds are in the pumpkin you win the basket, simple as that. Or we do a lunch and learn, like you get lunch, then we're gonna learn about a topic, sometimes it's mandatory, sometimes it's not. And, you know, they get lunch, they get to kind of, you know, hang with everybody and not just the teams. So we do a lot of, yeah, culture and engagement on the farm for sure, every month.
One of the things that I think maybe sets us apart, I've never asked one of my employees to do something that I wouldn't do myself. And I think when they see that, I think it makes a huge difference for them. As far as, you know, family events, that you got a birthday, you're getting birthday cake that day, we'll have a party, we'll get some pizza party, or pizza cake and that kind of stuff. And the quarterly meetings, or the interpreter meetings every month, and getting back to the man, that I love that, the why. That is something we've stressed in the last 2 or 3 years, that this is why we do it, and that's been huge. But, yeah, we treat them like family, we always have a Christmas party at the end of the year for everybody, and give them all presents and try to treat them like family, because they're thousands of miles away from their family. And I don't know how they do it. It just breaks my heart that they can't be with their families, but just the way it is.
I try to make them feel like their opinions and their ideas matter. Like if they come to me and they're like, hey, could we try this? Absolutely, we can try this. Like, thank you for thinking of that. Like, whatever little things they come to, or I can ask them. Like, it's a whole interaction where they're seen, they're heard, they understand. I'm bilingual, so it's easier for me than it is.
We're staying for so long, we're getting.
So, like, one of the recent things I've done is I've the daughters when I'm on flashcards. They're English, Spanish, and they're just easy words. So my office is above the parlor, and I have a desk where we charge all the phones and tablets and everything. So every week I switch out 3 or 4 of those cards. And I'll be coming to work and I can see my guys coming back downstairs because they've been upstairs. And then I'll go around the farm and I think last week's color was blue. So like I'll just randomly ask somebody like, how do you say blue in English? And it's like a whole game for them, so then they're picking at each other, because this person forgot and that person forgot, but this guy knew. And it just is a whole interaction that makes them feel more like they're part of the whole, they're part of the whole thing.
That's amazing.
So on training employees, you know, how often and what kind of trainings you guys offer to them, kind of, Bucher training, maternity, breeding schools, how do you guys handle that part, kind of training or retraining? What kind of training you guys offer and how often?
So over the years, we've developed a monthly schedule, some can change, some don't, like every March is our safety one that, talks about safety of weather, electrical, hazard communication, all the required national farm stuff and more is every March. Every August, I do animal handling required again, by national farm, so that's always August. And then sprinkled in between is like some of the other required with the maternity or calf care. So it's visited, once a year for sure. And then, our last lunch and learn, we did was on milking equipment. And we do that every couple of years. It's like, sure, we milk the cows, but how and why how does it work? So they're learning too. They're not just milking cows. This is why, this is how it works. So doing more of a deeper dive than that. So we have some structure, some leeway. Something we did last year that was really well received was going to different departments, and we thought we could do all of them in 1 hour. Go to that manager, kind of like a tour. Oh my gosh, we got through like one department. Those managers beamed to show the rest of the employees what they did. How many loads of feed that they do every day, or calf care, or here, help us pull this calf, or give this calf a bottle. Like the milkers didn't even know what maternity was, So that was really eye-opening and really neat to watch those managers beam and grow, and then the employees really learned something else on the farm. That was really.
Yeah, like to our monthly meeting with our interpreter, we go through all of our program. I don't know how many programs there, I can't remember. We tried to get them, and they all got to sign the agreement, and keeps everybody on the same page. But yeah, it's very important. And again, if somebody's got an idea, they come to me, and I know this, and we've developed a lot of our protocols around what they've suggested. And that really gives them satisfaction. So that's huge for us too.
So once a year, we have the cat company, like Caterpillar, they come in and they do machine safety for anybody that drives a skid steer, anybody that drives a loader, anything like that. We have, like I said, we have Clinton Vet. We work through them. They're on the home farm 4 days a week, and they make it to the other farms 1 day a week. So our guys know, and most of the vets that come are semi-bilingual. So whatever questions they have, like whether it's mastitis, whether it's, hey, this cow is walking funny, she looks weird, they have that immediate access and that training. We also do an animal handling training with the zoetics once a year, just so that everybody knows, like, if you stand here, the cow is going here. This is why you stand over here to make her go left. Just so they have that visual, they have that idea. And it's real fun because the guy that does it dresses up like a cow. So then you can like, he has them walk around him so that he moves and they get it, and it's a whole, everybody laughs, but they learn.
So how do you evaluate if that training was effective, like outcomes? Do you have a way of evaluating that, or?
Yeah, because we don't get people running with machinery. The cows are going with the guys want them to. And like our maternity guys, they look forward to when the vets basically split themselves between the cows and the calves. So 2 days a week, we have the vet that's dedicated to the calf herd. So the maternity guys know, like, hey, he's gonna be here these days, if we have these questions, he can be here. And just that they wanna ask, that they wanna learn, that they wanna know, like when we have the equipment training. And they're learning that, like, you can't use the blowgun thing full speed on radiator, it's gonna bend out things, and you can see the light bulbs come on. Oh, this is why my skid steer been overheating for the past 4 days, is because I have blown it out so hard that it's flat. But like, you can see it progressively get better, because we don't have that quite as much anymore, so they're learning.
I have a question on your holiday parties. How do you handle the parlor? Do you guys have that much room in it, or do some people have to stay and continue to work? Yeah, that's hard. So like our summer party starts at 4 o'clock. So the nighttime herds, so our herdsmen are 12s. So some are 12s, you're right, some are 8s, some are 10s. All departments are different, but we'll start at 4 p.m. I'll get the night shift guys to come in for a couple hours. We'll have somebody kind of stay a little bit longer. Somebody gets to be there an hour or two. And then we have to go till about 10 o'clock at night to catch the second shift people, right? This third shift should have come before, but second shift has to come after. So that is really hard. You know, I'd love to take trips to the Dells and have overnights, but we can't do that. And so we have to be a little more creative on how do we include everybody, make sure everybody gets a chance to do something. That's hard.
Our employees all work 12-hour shifts, so it's 5 to 5, like, it includes me, like, it's all of us. So our night guys come in from, I think it's 2 to 4 normally, wherever we're doing the Christmas thing, if they don't have a car, if they don't have a ride, we pick them up, we make sure they get there. So theirs is from 2 to 4, and then our day shift gets out of work, and theirs is from 6 to 8 usually. And once again, if they don't have rides, we pick them up, like, we use the farm vehicles, we take them wherever they have to go, but that way, and it's all the farms. Everybody is 12-hour shifts, so you have the entire day shift all at the same party. You have the entire night shift all at the same party. And it's cool because usually they have family on other farms, so they get to see each other and they get to hang out, and it works out really well that way.
When we do some of our lunch and learns, we'll have like a 11 to like 1:30 time, and then I'll come back again at like 7 to catch the third shift people, so I have to split those two.
Yeah, our holiday parties, we usually start at 11 in the morning and run till 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then everybody can make it. So it's hard.
Very good. So we appreciate you guys' questions. This has been a very interesting learning experience for a lot of us. It's pretty obvious that the areas that are performing at the highest level, there are reasons behind it. So I just wanted to make sure you guys know that we really appreciate the work that you guys do. It's because of people like yourselves that we have an organization like this, and a lot of the people in this room actually have a job and can make a living. So we greatly appreciate everything that you guys do. Okay, so let's thank them with a big round of applause. So this concludes our activities for today. So everybody's welcome to stick around and talk and ask questions. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys very much.
I'm just. That was amazing, guys.
Where are you?
Good. One thing that I.
Oh, you did. Oh my God. Great. Thank you. Well, at least he knows I'm working, right? So do you work with him at all or with us? Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah, no, I know. That's awesome. Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, in a sense you do, yeah. How's it